Hello, and welcome to the preview of the new AI Conversations activity tool that is Socratic questioning that is available in Ultra courses starting in September. As the instructor, I will go to my course and decide where I want this Socratic questioning activity to show up, conversation that the student's having. So in that case, I can go, okay, I'm going to put it in Module 1, or I can actually leave it outside of Module 1. Maybe I want to put it outside. So I'm going to come in here after they're done and create something. So I'll choose create. And under my participation and engagement is now a new option called AI Conversation. This option allows me, the instructor, to create a Socratic questioning activity where where the instructor comes in and enters a topic of conversation. So let's say this is a history class. I would be like, discuss the impact of the Civil War on America's development as a country, right? And now I can decide, okay, who do I want the students to be discussing this with? Well, I want them to be discuss this with Abraham Lincoln is who they'll be discussing this with, right? I'm going to edit the image. I can then use Unsplash directly inside Blackboard to find an image that I'm looking for. In this case, I want to choose Abraham Lincoln. Whoops. Abraham Lincoln. And then I can search. It can then give me pictures of a picture that I might want to use for Abraham Lincoln. In this case, I'll choose almost Lincoln, or that guy right there, right? So I'll choose next. And there he is. Boom. And I'm going to hit save. So not only do my students get to have a conversation, I can add in an avatar of said person. This could be Socrates, for example. This could be any kind of figure. Maybe they're having a discussion on math, with Pythagoras, or that kind of a thing. So they can have this kind of discussion. And what's the personality trait? I'm gonna say, personality traits. I might say instructional. I might say historical and expositional. And I might even say supportive, right? All those things. And then I can choose the complexity of the responses, whether they be low to high. And currently, it's a reflection question. And when they're done with the activity that I've got in here, it says, in what ways did this conversation advance your understanding of the topic? So in essence, you're having them do this activity where they can have this conversation and then reflect upon it. So that metacognition might be happening there, right? Thinking about thinking. I can hit save there. So I've got that. Currently, that is the reflection question. I can come in and decide, maybe I'll grade it and give it a due date. It's currently worth 1 point. It does not have to have a due date, so I can choose no due date, and then hit save here. So there's this question for my student, right? I might say, okay, good. In what ways did discuss the impact of the Civil War on America's development as a country, right? So now I'm going to make this activity visible to my students. And I'm going to close it. Or close it and go to my student preview so you can see how this works from the student standpoint. So I'm going to turn on my student preview. So again, a really good best practice when you're going through your courses is to use student preview and leverage it so that you know the kinds of content you've got. So here I am as my student. I'm going to go to new AI conversation. And I could have named it something different, but I did not. But here it is. Okay, start attempt. Boom, it shows me here. There's an interface. Hi, my name is Abraham Lincoln. My responses are generated by AI and therefore may have bias or not be accurate. So there's that disclaimer right out there. Please share your initial thoughts. And I might say the separation of families due to the divided nature of the Civil War had a tremendous impact on America's development, right? As the student, I'm going to send that. Then Lincoln is going to think about what he's typing. I can say, okay, How do you think the economic changes during the Civil War influenced America's growth as a nation? And again, depending upon the kinds, and I could have phrased that a little differently. Due to the divided nature, I said the divide nature. So I didn't say families in here either. So what I might say is I might change it up and be like, I did say it, but you can have these kinds of conversations and work through them where where the student and the instructor can come back and forth and have a conversation, or not the instructor, the AI can have a conversation. How do you think economic changes during the Civil War influenced America's growth as a nation? I could say something to the effect of family units were separated, and supporting salaries were supporting resources and jobs were taken away due to the war and its end. Again, having this back and forth. What could have been different if families had not been separated during the Civil War? Having the students just think about these kinds of things, right? And have that conversation. So again, this is a new tool. It's only going to get better. But right now, just know that at the end, I've got a reflection question. In what ways did the conversation advance your understanding? The student could come in there and provide an answer. And the answer might also be, it didn't work out so well, right? And so when the student's ready, they submit it. Right, so they've had this activity, they've done the thing, and boom. And if they want to see what they wrote again, they can click back and view submission. But this kind of an activity is another way that you can be engaging in this new Ultra environment. This is just an activity where it's Socratic questioning. We are not, the student is not trying to get the answer from the AI, and it won't, because the type of activity it is. The AI is going to prompt them with questions rather than answers. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of the AI conversation tool. And if you have any questions about it, feel free to contact me.